Hello everyone, AutoChamp Wandelen here, and right next to me is the all-new MG Cyberster, and this has to be a big revolution for the MG brand as of lately, which brings me down to a very big problem we all have, guys. The big problem being that no car manufacturer has come up with a desirable electric car that isn't very expensive, guys. We look at Stellantis, we looked at the Volkswagen Group, we look at BMW, Mercedes, Tesla, BYD. Neither of them have came up with an interesting electric coupe. Now, the big question is the MG Cyberster the answer to this problem? And then there's a second problem I have in my mind as well. For a very long time, the MG brand has been a bit dormant. They've been releasing boring A to B crossover SUVs that are either hybrid or electric. Is this a comeback? Is this MG saying, here I am, I'm back in town? Or is this MG basically saying, oh, look, I built an electric car, an electric coupe. Are you all satisfied now? Are you all happy? Watch this video till the end. I will be expressing my perspective of the MG Cyberster. We're going to have a look at this vehicle, the exterior, the interior, and don't forget to check the links in the description for more of my car reviews on YouTube of other interesting electric cars, whether in the premium segment or in the mass market. Right, let's get on to the review right now. Now, let's not get too excited, everyone. I personally see that there's a bit of a problem already. I've just been around this car. I saw pictures of it on the internet, and I have to say it didn't really inspire me that much, and here are my reasons why. First of all, when I think of the real MGs, I think of the 1970s, the 1960s, where you could buy a small British coupe and drive to the countryside every weekend. And even to this day, I know some people who keep the classic MGs and they use it just for the weekends. However, MG vanished from the EU market, or at least here in Belgium. They disappeared in the early 2000s, and since then nobody heard from them. Now there's a Chinese car manufacturer. It's a group. They go by the name SAIC Motors, SAIC, if I'm correct. I'm not exactly sure what it's spelled as. It's an abbreviation for something. But the thing is, they revived the MG brand. So the MG brand was still alive. But the thing is, they were not exactly building the same things they used to build before. No, everyone, this is not a Polestar. This is an MG, but some reason this looks like something Polestar or the Geely Group has came up with. I'm seriously wondering, why would you want to have an arrow right there? The font they used for the model name, they have it right here. From a distance, it had me thinking of Alfa Romeo. I don't know why, but it just looks like something Alfa Romeo usually does. So it's, again, there's a lot of surprises with this car. They did a brilliant job with the wheel. I think the wheel is arguably the best thing about this car. Now, this is one particular wheel I like, but I saw other wheels that were available for the MG Cyberster, and honestly, I'm not a fan of them. Now, this particular MG Cyberster costs 68,000 euros. It's a bit of a mystery as to who exactly this MG Cyberster competes against, because it is quite unique in its segment. It is electric, but in terms of dimension and in terms of price, it could be perceived as a competitor against the BMW Z4. Now, like most cabriolets in the premium segment, you get a different tone for this roof over here. So this roof has a red top and you have the body paint over here. I like this tone of black you get right here. Another problem I just noticed is, why do you have emergency switch manual right here? Like, you know, when you put a sticker like this looks like something you'd expect on a public transport. But, you know, when you buy a nice coupe like this, you wouldn't be expecting a sticker so conspicuous here. Now, this, if I'm correct, is to open the door. Otherwise, you can always open the door with the key fob like this, all right? So this is the key fob to your MG. The key fob looks interesting. Right underneath the bonnet, you don't get any storage space. You have the electric motor. Now, over here is the recharge cap for your MG Cyberster. The MG Cyberster, you get scissor doors, everyone. They open like this, upwards, just like on a sports car. This is really cool concept. Now, I want to remind you all something. This vehicle is in showroom mode, so it's at the moment there's some functions that don't seem to be working. The battery is down, but rest assured, this does not reflect the reality of the vehicle, the road performance or anything. This vehicle is awesome. Earlier when we had a bit of power, I was able to open this door. It had this electric opening. It is awesome. The door opens by itself, by the way. It is time to take a look at the interior of this MG Cyberster. Now I was able to open the door thanks to the emergency latch, which is at the back over there. Because it is in showroom mode, I won't be able to show you all the infotainment system, but already at first glance I just noticed something. There's something about this interior that has this Corvette vibe, Chevrolet Corvette vibe, because last year I had the pleasure of checking out the Chevrolet Corvette and it had a really interesting interior. It's similar to this. So yeah, now to pull the door closed, there's a button right here. So there's something about this interior that's quite nice. First of all, let's adjust the steering wheel to my preferred adjustment. You can the steering wheel adjustment is good. The steering wheel is quite nice. I really like how you have the fabric on the steering wheel. This particular fabric is red, so it's a similar tone as the rooftop you get for this particular cabriolet. This is quite nice. Squidgy leather, very nice, pleasant to hold onto. You get even pallets on the steering wheel, but make no mistakes, these pallets have nothing to do with the transmission, but rather with the driving mode. So the one on the right is for driving mode, if I see correctly, and the other one is supposed to be a power boost for this MG, but I may be mistaken about this, because I know that for certain electric cars, one pallet is often dedicated to a power boost when accelerating, to enhance the acceleration of your electric vehicle. At least that's what I heard from certain car manufacturers. So now the interior is also quite interesting. You get a handle over here, which is coated with leather wrapping, and then on the other side you have this Alcantara touch to it, which is quite a nice combo. Your transmission is right here, and then you have a narrow touchscreen right here, if I'm correct, guys. Now, to have a touchscreen right here, which is narrow, is not exactly new. I know McLaren has a thing for this. In fact, with McLaren, you're not really getting the car for the tech. You're getting the car to use on the road tracks. So I guess with MG, they weren't exactly aiming to go all techy. It's with this car, unlike premium players like that from BMW, the Volkswagen Group, like Audi and such, and then Mercedes. It's kind of like a vehicle that's meant for the driving pleasure, really. I think that was the case of MG back in the day. So here they really didn't care that much about the techs, and again, it's of selective taste. Me personally, I think already there's a bit of an identity crisis. It really strongly reminds me of the Chevrolet Corvette, and the infotainment system is, I actually, because this car is in showroom mode, I actually can't really turn it on, so I don't really know where is the infotainment system precisely. But if the climate control is this narrow, this basic, so I'm assuming you'll get more detailed climate control on the screen, which is great. But I can definitely show you where the transmission is. So the transmission is right here. It's with buttons, guys. So this is awesome. It's this is great. This is a great concept. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting an MG Cyberster owner the other day, and we both, well, he thinks that the electric seating adjustment is likely from Mercedes. And I had the same feeling too, because I find it interesting how, just like Mercedes, they put the electric seating adjustment onto the door. The driver's seat and the passenger seat, they both get seating memory, so this is a plus. And all this for 68,000 euros, this is quite rare. You would never see this from many players, guys, even the premium players. So this is very interesting from what I see. Now, I just want to make you guys aware that you're not exactly getting this car for practicality, because onto the door, there's no pocket at all. Now, I think the reason why there's no pocket is because these doors are scissor doors, so it opens upwards. Anything in the door would be falling out, so they expect you to use this whole area for storage. And secondly, coupes historically have never been used for family use. At least it's extremely rare someone would do this. That's why Audi, Porsche, and BMW, they came up with what they call coupes, but basically four-door sedans, which are sporty and everything. It's a cute concept, and it works, guys. It works. Whereas, yeah. Okay, so for storage space, you get this little storage area right here under this well, what I would call transmission. And then the cup holders are quite interesting. You just push this button up, and your thing, the cup holders, they go up. You can even choose to leave them down. This is quite nice. Interesting trim you get right here. This is quite a nice trim. And then a narrow storage space over here, which I can assume it would be for your keys. I'm actually not sure. Then you get a central console storage, which is very, very small. It's I think it's for your keyless entry because there's a symbol over there. Not exactly sure. And that's about it, guys. When it comes to the MG identity, it has the spirit. It's got the feel of the MG. You can tell by the absence of practicality. You can tell by the fact that this interior is very driver-centric and you feel like you're ready to take on the roads ahead. So here's my conclusion of the MG Cyberster. For a price of 68,000 euros, this has to be one of the most unique coupes I've ever seen. Or should I say, cabriolet. It's not every day you see an interesting cabriolet for 70,000 euros, let alone electric and equipped with premium materials, and that to something which you would dream of driving someday under the sunshine. This is how great it is, everyone. But then, it's not all pink roses. I'm going to be very honest with you all. It's not all pink roses. I saw pictures of it on the internet. At first sight, it didn't really faze me because the front, it didn't look like a real MG. I don't see the real MG spirit in the design. The rear looks like something Polestar would have done, and I just can't really comprehend why would you want to put arrows? Why? I just don't get it. And then also, why there's just some things that I found a bit illogic and some things that just conflict with the overall theme of the car. The interior though, I could sense the MG spirit. The fact that they've gone very driver-centric and it was all performance-centric. There was no practicality, but that too, you know, it's just like the original MGs where it was all about the driving experience. It was all about taking the vehicle to the countryside and taking it down the narrow roads. This is how good the real MGs were, and I could sense the spirit inside the MG Cyberster. But it's not enough to just have the feel. It's also sometimes important to have the looks, you see? The interior clearly had an identity crisis, in my opinion. I think it would have been more interesting if MG had their own ideas, if they had their own thing going on. Just like the real MG. I really to this day fail to comprehend why is it so difficult for the MG brand of today to bring something from its ancestor models, because this is something many car manufacturers are doing. They're making references to ancient models from the 70s, even from the 60s, and then also from the 80s. I can't really understand what is MG trying at this point, guys, because so far what I've seen of them is electric crossover SUVs or hybrid crossover SUVs that, I mean, they're cheap to afford, they're great value for money, they're very well equipped, but they're not exactly something I would dream of driving when compared to something BYD has come up with, because BYD makes cars that are at least more interesting to look at, something that's desirable. I failed to spot this from MG, everyone, especially when compared to other electric car manufacturers that are not necessarily Chinese. We're talking about electric car manufacturers like Tesla, and then from big brands like BMW, Mercedes, the Volkswagen Group, Stellantis. Now, Stellantis has its own thing going on. I also think they have their identity crisis. It's at the moment a bit of a mishmash between Peugeot, Jeep, and Opel cars. At this point, I don't really know what Stellantis is up to. I really hope that in long terms, they bring the MG charm, not only in the feel, but rather in the looks as well. This is what I want to see from future MG models. This is a new chapter for the MG brand. Check the link in the description of my other YouTube videos where I review other MG models. Check the link in the description for my YouTube videos where I review the Porsche Taycan, the Audi RS GT or GT-RS, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Basically, sporty electric cars. And most importantly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below sharing me your thoughts of this MG Cyberster. I will see you all next time.